Hey guys, welcome to Single Chef. I'm Matt Skollar. I am your classic single guy with the classic single guy fridge and ingredients. So the difference is I know how to use these items simply and quickly to create a tasty meal that you can't mess up. Now it's so good that even a woman will be impressed by it, and God knows we need that. We don't want to be single forever. But if you can't take my word for it, you can't not take our lovely Lily's word for it. Right, Lily?
That's right, Matt. I'm going to try that food and tell it like it is.
Right on.
So what are you cooking?
Well, guys, I'm doing something that every single guy out there can do. I'm taking Kraft macaroni and cheese, and I'm just going to add a few single chef, things to it to make it really pop, and we're going to have something great.
Awesome. So, I love Kraft. Who doesn't love Kraft? Grew up on it.
Absolutely.
But I have to tell you, I have a new favorite.
Okay.
Yeah, new mac and cheese brand.
Really?
Yeah, they're called Patty Mac.
Patty Mac,
Yeah,
okay.
You can get them, they're sold in Village Gourmet in Studio City, but they also have a booth at the Studio City Farmers Market every Sunday.
You heard it from Lily, guys, Patty Mac.
It is so delicious. You have to try it. So next time, that's what you're going to use.
All right, I will try Patty Mac. Okay. I'll see if my food will live up to Patty Mac's reputation. And as always, guys, I'm going to use my 10 single chef, or I'm going to choose from my 10 single chef ingredients. And let's go through that list real quick. We've got soy sauce and Worcestershire. I've got every single guy's got ketchup. I got $1,000 dressing, guys. Yes, sir. I've got my mayonnaise, hot sauce, we got mustard, I've got my canola oil, a little salt and pepper and garlic powder, and that's it. That's all anybody needs to cook. Plus what I shop for, and that was simply, I got some Italian sausage, I got some ground beef, a little jar of pasta sauce, and I got a few different peppers here. I got a jalapeno and a red hot chili pepper. That's from my boy Anthony Kiedis. All right, so I'm pretty hungry. I don't know about you, Lily.
I'm starving.
Cool. Well, let's get the show on the road.
But before you start, tell them about the chat room.
Okay, guys. Good question. If you have any questions, thanks, Lily.
Sure.
If you have any questions in the room live, if you're not registered, register. It takes a minute, and send Lily a question. You can ask me right live while we're live here in the room, live.com. And I said live a number of times, but I'll try and answer those questions as best I can. Let's get on with the show. So I have my water boiling over here on the stove, and I've got my saute skillet ready to go. First thing I want to do is I just want to pop my pasta into the water, and I'm just going to put a little bit of oil in here, and that's just going to make it so the pasta doesn't stick together, because you don't want your pasta to stick. I'm going to turn these on high, and we're going to get this show on the road right now. So I have 2 boxes of Kraft macaroni and cheese. I'm going to put those in the water right now. There we go. Put these boxes here. And let me just give those a little stir just initially so they don't stick. And what you want to do, guys, with pasta, Lily, what you want to do if you're making pasta is you just want to stir it occasionally so it doesn't stick. Very important. Otherwise, your pasta is going to be all clumped together, and it's just, there's no salvaging it. Next thing I'm going to do is, like I said, I have a chili pepper, and I've got a jalapeno. I'm going to chop those up and put it in the skillet and get that going. So you see how I have a stem on these, okay? First thing I'm going to cut here is the top. This is going to make things easy for cutting. I'm going to cut the tops off, and I'm going to cut the bottoms off. And then I'm going to cut those sideways so we can make a nice flat, piece of jalapeno to cut. All right, real simple. You can cut these as big or as little as you want. I'm gonna go another round here and just chop them a little smaller. Do the same thing with the chili pepper. And while I'm doing that, guys, a little FYI for my LA peeps. So I just got the skinny today from a parking cop. And Lily, you'll like this.
Okay.
So I parked in a failed meter today, and just after I parked, I happened to see a parking meter maid, and I asked, hey, is it cool to park in a failed parking? And they said, you know what, you're good for today, but they just passed a new law that says, you know, because you do that all the time,
Yeah.
that if you're parked in a failed meter, you're going to get a ticket. So just keep that in mind in the near future, guys, and that's one to grow on. All right, moving on. Moving on. All right, I'm going to coat my pan with some oil, and then we're going to start cooking these chili peppers and this jalapeno peppers.
Matt, we have a few questions
Excellent.
from our viewers.
Let's hear it.
So the first one is from Zoe Grace 11.
Hello, Zoe Grace.
She says she's back. She was here a couple weeks ago.
All right.
And she wants to know if you can use any kind of oil to keep the pasta from sticking.
Any kind of oil?
Yeah.
Well, here on Single Chef, I use canola oil, but if you have olive oil, if you have grapeseed oil, yeah, you can use those too. The thing about olive oil, it's more of a finishing oil because it tends to heat up real quickly, and once it starts burning, it actually becomes toxic. So you want to use an oil that has a high viscosity and that won't burn off on high heat. So great question, Zoe. Appreciate you being back. Keep them coming.
And we have one more from another viewer.
All right.
Happy Jenny 24 wants to know if you can use any kind of pepper.
Yes, you can use bell pepper. If you don't like spicy, you can use bell pepper. Red or green or yellow or orange, they're all varieties. I just prefer a little spice just because that's like my Latin side coming out, and it just gives it a little more flavor and pop. So absolutely. I'm going to put these sausages in there because they take longest to cook. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cover that with a lid so those sausages start cooking right away. And I'm just going to turn down the heat on that burner just a little bit. And once again, I'm going to take my trusty spoon and I'm going to just stir that pasta a little bit.
Matt, what kind of sausage are you using?
I'm using, good question, I'm using, this is hot Italian sausage.
Good.
So there's going to be a little heat in this tonight.
Nice, I like the heat.
Well, you know, I do too. Some people don't like it as much as others, but you know, I'm a fan of a little heat in my food. But again, that's to my preference. Here on Single Chef, there are no rules or regulations, guys. Whatever you feel, however amount of salt and pepper you feel like putting in something, however you want to do a little spicy or not, that's all up to you. I'm just showing you how I roll.
It's all about feeling, right?
It's all about feeling,
yeah.
Exactly. So that's what I'm feeling today. I was feeling a little spicy. Okay, so you really want to make sure that your sausages are cooked through and through, obviously. Very important because it's pork. Now, if you're dealing with beef, that's a different story. Beef can be, doesn't have to be cooked through. Just like a hamburger is medium rare or medium, there's still some pink in it, and that's fine. But obviously with pork, you make sure that's cooked through and through. How I work with sausages is I'll cover the pan like I did right there and let them cook for a while. And then what I'll do is before they're fully cooked, I'll cut them in slices, and then I'll put them back, and that finishes them really quickly. Because here on this Single Chef show, we only have 25 minutes to play with, so we got to make sure that we get that done quick. And for you single guys out there, I mean, it's all about, we don't have a lot of time to sit in the kitchen. We want to watch our sports, or we got a date, or whatever the case may be. So I want to try and do this as quickly as possible for you guys. So as you can hear, that's sizzling up pretty good. That's cooking, the oil's messing with that pretty good. Again, you want to stir your pasta constantly, or, whenever you get a free minute, stir that pasta, because I guarantee you guys, it will clump up on you. It'll stick together if you don't, if you don't stir it. So I'm just going to move those sausages around so they get cooked evenly. Oh, yeah.
We have another question.
Excellent.
Yeah, very popular.
Those things are cooking really hot.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Can you guys hear me? So I just want to show the camera real quick. You see how the top is brown like that? That's what you want it to look like all around, guys, okay? Cool. What's the question?
All right, so FlowerChild65 wants to know
I love
if
the
you
names.
can use other pasta mixes rather than mac and cheese.
Other pasta mixes, absolutely. Again, I love the questions, guys. I personally, generally Kraft macaroni and cheese has the long guys on here, but I like the shells for the Kraft macaroni and cheese, so I chose those. But if you're using just pasta, you can use penne, rigatoni, spaghetti, linguine, angel hair, shells, whatever you prefer. This is just what I chose today. Again, going with the whole mode of what I was feeling. I was feeling little shells today, so thank you for the question.
But you could conceivably use like other types of pasta and add your own cheese to it.
Absolutely, absolutely. You can conceivably use whatever you like, whatever you like. Like I said, there's a variety of pastas, as we all know. Use whatever you like. I'm using Kraft macaroni and cheese, so I'm going to use their recipe for the Kraft macaroni and cheese. And the difference, that's going to take this thing to the next level is that I'm adding the peppers. I'm going to add my ground beef here in just a second, and the sausage. And when that all combines together with the cheesiness of the Kraftness, it's going to be great. And actually, this is a dish that I discovered like in college, guys. In college, you have not that much money to play with, so you cook a lot of ramen noodles or Kraft macaroni and cheese. So one day I was like, you know what, I don't want just plain Kraft macaroni and cheese. I grabbed a thing of chopped meat, I cooked that up, I made my macaroni and cheese and mixed it all together, and I was like, that's a hearty meal. That's a good college meal right there. And it's become a tradition in my life. Every now and then, this is real comfort food. And so that's why I'm showing you guys tonight how to jazz it up a little bit. All right, so Lily, what I'm going to do now, I'm going to take our sausages out because they're getting seared really well, and I'm going to cut them into pieces, put them back in the pan, and add our ground beef so it all cooks together. So here you go, guys. I'm going to show you on this camera over here. Okay, and watch closely. We're brown on all sides. So I'm going to take these 3 sausages, and I'm going to cut them. And we put this aside for 1 second. And like I said, I just cut them into slices. And these sausages are already pretty well cooked, so that's awesome. We're ahead of the game. And they're really hot.
And Matt, it smells so good.
You know what?
I'm glad.
It does smell pretty good, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Sometimes when we cook, we go like, you put yourself in a little bit of a danger zone with some hot food, but it's all right. We're tough guys. We can handle it. And for you ladies out there, you can wear a little glove. Ah, that's really hot. Oh, I'm going to get a glove. Yes, I'm now a lady. For those ladies and guys like me, you can use a glove. So I'm going to cut these into, continue cutting these in tiny slices. They're cooked about 80% through, which I'm very excited about because I made sure that pan was really, really hot, guys. So, like I said, you got to make sure your sausages are cooked through and through.
It did sizzle really nicely.
It did. That's because I had the pan on like 10 minutes before showtime, and I put some oil in there. Well, as soon as you put the oil in, it gets immediately hot, and throw the sausages in there, and it just goes crazy. All right, so here's my beef log, if you will, and I'm going to start putting that into the pan because these are already pretty well cooked. So here we go.
A beef log.
A beef log. Here, let me show you guys on camera.
I like the name of that.
Who doesn't like a good old... I'm learning things about you, Lily. I'm learning things. Mental note, she likes a beef log. Remember that, guys. I'm going to put a little more oil in there just to make sure that, like it did with the sausage, it cooked it really brown. Just going to put a little more. I'm not going to overdo it with the oil because there's already fat in that beef. So I'm just coating the top of that beef with some oil, and I'm going to start chopping into it so it's nice and chopped.
It does smell so good in here. I can't.
You got to take Lily's word for it, guys. It smells good in here.
It smells delicious.
Well, that's my goal, is to make it smell and taste good. All right, let's go back to our pasta real quick. Okay, here's how you test pasta, guys. If you're brave, you can just run it under some water real quick and then just taste it. I have a strainer here, so I'm just going to put it in the strainer. Whoops. And then I'm just going to run it under some water and just kind of taste test. I like my pasta al dente. And another 30 seconds and it's right where I need it to be. If I forget, Lily, will you just remind me to take the pasta out in 30 seconds?
I will remind you.
Thank you. Okay. Yeah, I can't stand mushy pasta. It's disgusting. I have to have it al dente or can't have it at all, whether I go out to a restaurant, whether I'm cooking. So, while 30 seconds are almost up, I'm going to take some of our single chef Worcestershire and I'm going to put that on our beef. And that's just going to give it a nice flavor. I'm also going to take some of our garlic powder. And I'm going to sprinkle a healthy portion of garlic powder. And I'm going to crack some black pepper on there.
We have another question.
Excellent.
Lucky Joe 100 wants to know, why do you always use different kinds of meat? rather than just one or the other, but both beef and sausage?
Why do I always, I'm sorry, what was the question?
You use different kinds of meat for one recipe?
Right.
Why?
Well, actually, I was either going to use chicken or turkey for this meal.
Yeah.
But at the last minute, I made a game time decision and went with beef and sausage. So I actually don't use the same stuff all the time, and if I do, I apologize. It's just I really like sausage and I really like beef. And with the Kraft macaroni and cheese, it goes really good. But you could use ground turkey if you want to go a little lighter on the fat content. And if you're a vegetarian, you can make the same exact dish with veggie meat, and I've done that too. Veggie sausage or veggie, crumbled beef, whatever the case may be. You could do it with veggie, and that is provided you eat mac and cheese, and you can make yourself a delicious vegetarian meal. So, good question. Thank you.
But Matt, that's
Yeah.
not entirely the question.
What was the question?
It was, why do you choose to use both sausage
Oh,
and
why am I
beef
using both?
instead of one or the other?
My bad. I didn't hear the question correctly. It must be all that wine I drank. Because why not use two kinds of meat? How's that? All right.
Oh, and G Skollar wants to know, what is mushy pasta?
What is mushy pasta?
Yeah.
Boy, that last name sounds familiar. Listen, we grew up in the same household, G Skollar, my brother. And God bless, I love our mom. But every now and then she'd overcook pasta and it'd be mushy. It just tastes like, mushy pasta. There's no crunch to it. That's what mushy pasta is. I know you don't do that. I've been to your house and you've cooked up a storm with the pasta, but that's mushy pasta, yo. Bad. Okay, our beef is getting there, so I'm going to throw our sausage back in and I'm going to finish this up. Because we're going to be ready to eat here in just about 3 or 4 minutes.
And did you take out the pasta?
Yes, the pasta. Thank you for reminding me.
Sure.
7 minutes late. Appreciate that. Lily, God bless you, girl. I'm just giving her a shot. I love Lily's awesome. We couldn't do the show without her. All right, so now I am okay. Oh yeah, that's why I bought a jar of pasta sauce. I'm gonna throw a little bit of this sauce on top of the meat, and when it mixes with the cheese sauce, it's gonna just be really delicious. So here we go. I'm just coating that with some pasta sauce. I've got a little thing here of Italian seasoning. If you don't have it, it's no big deal. I just happen to, grab it out of the pantry. And this is just a mix of like basil, thyme, and parsley and some other stuff. Just give it a little Italian flair. There we go. Just a little bit of sprinkle of that. Okay, so now, we're going to make the cheese sauce for the Kraft macaroni and cheese. I've strained my pasta. I'm putting it in this bowl, like so. We're going to have a nice, healthy portion of meal here.
Awesome.
Actually, I don't even think I'm going to use all of this. Nah, I'll use all of it.
We have 2 more questions if we have time.
I do have time.
Oh, fantastic.
Please.
The first is from Natalie Wilson.
Okay, Natalie, how you doing, sweetheart? What's the question? I'm taking this butter and I'm putting it in there. Simple.
She wants to know, if she doesn't use the mac and cheese mix,
Yeah.
what kind of cheese should she use when she makes this for Garth?
Well, that's a great question. There's no rules or regulations to mac and cheese if you're doing it from scratch. You can do a mixture of cheese, like you can do a Monterey Jack, Colby, cheddar, American, whatever cheeses that you actually enjoy. I wouldn't recommend blue cheese or feta cheese for this because it doesn't melt the same and it's just, a whole different story with that. But, mix it up. Get some Monterey, get some Colby, get some Jack cheese, melt it down with some butter and some milk, and you'll be good to go. Great question, Natalie, though. So I just want to let you guys know, I put some butter in here, like the directions tell me to, and now I'm going to take this, what's in this little guy is some milk, and I'm going to add, well, first I'm going to add the cheese mix to it. Whoops. So we have 2 of these, so we're putting 2 of these in here so it's nice and cheesy. And as you can hear, our meat's cooking up really good. That's going to be ready by the time this is ready, and we're going to mix it all together, and then we're going to eat.
Awesome. We have one more question.
Please.
Zoe Grace, 11, is back again. She's
Hey,
been
Zoe.
with us the whole time.
Love Zoe. Love Zoe.
What kind of vegetables should you use or could you serve with this meal?
Whatever your heart fancies, Zoe. If you like string beans, if you like broccoli, if you like carrots, if you like cauliflower, if you like Brussels sprouts, there ain't no rules when it comes to cooking. Seriously, whatever your heart content, that's what you use. Now I'm going to take this milk, because it calls for milk, and I'm going to put just like a 1/4 cup in there. and I'm going to get that nice and cheesy. And if you have like, well, you know what? I have a little hot sauce here. I know I already got my chilies in there. I'm just going to put a drop of that in there. So it's going to be it's going to have a little bite to it. So, hey, Matt, let me show you on camera here just what this is looking like. You got to stir that up real good. It's starting to get there. But we want to make sure that all that powdered cheese becomes liquid cheese, which I'm attempting to do right now. So, I'm almost there. Okay. And I get a little messy on this show, guys, and that's okay, because you know what? We'll just clean it up afterwards. We don't have to be completely like neat freaks, but this is really getting cheesy and good. I'm going to do a quick taste test.
And when you have a minute, your bro, G Skollar, has another question.
That's really good. Guys, Kraft macaroni and cheese is the bomb. All right. I'd love to hear a question from my brother.
All right. So, Talia.
Oh, that's my little niece.
All right.
Hey, baby.
So, Talia wants to know if you can use soy milk instead of regular milk.
Absolutely. If you don't use regular milk, if you're a vegetarian or you just have you're lactose intolerant, you can use soy milk. Absolutely, 100%. It's not going to taste exactly the same as using regular milk, but whatever your dietary needs are, please use that.
We're being flooded with questions right now, but
okay,
go ahead. And then
I just want to show everyone before we take another question. So I have my mac and cheese. It's done. This is the single chef schnaz I'm adding to it. I've got my sausage and my beef well cooked with a little marinara sauce, some of those chili peppers, and now I'm going to mix this all up. And Lily, I know we have a bunch of questions, but we're running out of time, so if you want to come up here and help me, we'll eat this stuff.
Sorry, Andrew, a.k.a. We'll get your questions.
Hey, guys, I appreciate all the questions. I really do. Continue, next week, you can certainly ask more questions, or you can go on Facebook at The Single Chef. That's our Facebook page, and you can ask your questions there, and I'll be sure to get online and answer them for you.
This looks so good.
I know, I'm pretty hungry.
Can we just eat out of the bowl?
We could, but we have some plates here. If you want to if you want to bring those plates over, and then we're gonna taste this right now. Actually, you know what? Before we plate this, why don't you take here? I brought a spoon for you.
Thanks.
It's really hot, so I need you to be careful.
I will.
But go ahead and take a little bite, and I'm gonna do the same.
Okay.
And let's test this out. Just blow on that.
Excuse me.
That's a good sign.
Yeah.
Take that, Mac cheese.
my God,
What's the name of that place you went to?
good.
What's the place in Sunset? Wherever?
Patty Mac.
Patty Mac. Take that.
But you still have to use it next time.
I'll use it. All right, so guys, thanks for joining me again. I really appreciate the questions. And listen, learn how to cook because we don't want to be single forever, right? Have a great night. We'll see you next week on The Single Chef.